Johnny sitting in the tree. Kissing. First come love, then come marriage. Then come the baby and the baby carriage.
It starts out so innocent. You meet someone, you fall in love, and spend all day holding hands and making out. Before you know it, instead of sleeping in on Saturday mornings, you're up at dawn feeding a little one and watching cartoons. Everything you want to do goes right out the window. Where's all that love and romance now? It's tough stuff for grown-ups to raise children. Just think of how difficult it was to raise you. You were probably more than a handful. It takes more than just being responsible to raise a good child. It takes a lifetime commitment. And that's something many young parents just aren't ready for. Every year, 4 out of 10 young women become pregnant at least once before they reach the age of 20, most of them by accident. It wasn't that they weren't told if they had unprotected sex they would get pregnant. It's just many thought it wouldn't happen to them. Just ask Jason and Rashandra, a couple still in high school and living the reality of raising a child when they're only in their teens.
Well, when I found out I was pregnant, I was about 9 weeks. I came out to Cold Clinic, and I was like, my period ain't come on. I don't know what else was going on. I have funny feelings. My body feeling funny. So I asked the lady, I said, can I take a pregnancy test? She said, yes. So I took my pregnancy test, and she told me I was pregnant. I was hurt myself, and I was hurt because I was going to tell my mother and my father and him.
The news hit Jason hard, too.
I was like, what should I do? I was like, wondering what should I do? I didn't know what to do. I wasn't going to run out on or run away, nothing like that. I was like wondering what kind of job I'm going to have and whatever, like stuff like that.
But even though the situation seemed overwhelming, the two managed to put their minds together and get some real help. They enrolled in the COPE Center, which stands for Continuing Opportunities for Purposeful Education. There they could not only get an academic education, more important, lessons on life.
COPE, as you know, we are a school for pregnant girls, and the baby's fathers, if they qualify, they do come to COPE. We have an on-base clinic here. We have an on-base WIC office. We have an on-base daycare center. And we give the students parenting classes, which include and entail child development. And they have to work actually in the daycare center handling babies and not baby dolls, okay? And in the parenting class, they are given the human body, the anatomy, from A to Z. What happens during conception, what happens before, what happens after, each month that they understand until the babies are born. And then afterwards they are trained how the baby should be cared for. Some of the students don't know how to dress a baby, they don't know how to care for a baby because they are babies themselves.
Jason and Rashandra admit they knew if they had unprotected sex, Rashandra could get pregnant. But when things got hot and heavy, they took a gamble and lost. And the problem isn't just with women.
The men, it's like the women, they don't get pregnant, but they are not informed. They don't understand. And this spur of the moment can cause you a lifetime of problems here. It's a lack of knowledge, and if our students were educated to the fact that they knew what they were getting into, they would not be so inclined to have sex at such an early age.
And there are other concerns. Research now shows the babies of teenage mothers often have low birth weights and are more likely to perform poorly in school. And there's more. The sons of teenage mothers often end up in prison, and their daughters often follow in their footsteps. They become teenage mothers. Rashandra and Jason are hoping they'll become the exception to the rule. Jason tells us he has a good reason for not running away from raising his child.
For one, I don't want my child to have a stepfather, no step parent at all. That's why I ain't going nowhere. She stuck with me.
That's good news for Rashandra. She says even though the baby was unexpected, it doesn't mean her life is over.
So it's hard for me to work. So by next year, I'll probably have a little after-school job, weekend job, and making a living for me and my baby also. And for the future, I plan to be a correctional officer.
Jason and Rashandra are now the proud parents of a baby boy, Jason Jr. Schools like COPE are instrumental in helping young mothers who are already pregnant, but what about prevention? Concerned groups are doing more than talk about sex and the consequences. They're getting young people involved. Take this New Men for the Millennium conference, for example. Instead of talking to young ladies, experts are now targeting the young men.
We have something very, very special planned for you in the segment entitled, What If Men Got Pregnant? You see these gentlemen? To tell you the truth, these guys are real men, because what they're about to do, are you listening? What they're about to do, they're about to experience what it feels like to be pregnant. Oh yes, they're the chosen ones.
Some of the young men strap on bodies like pregnant women and walk around for hours to see how uncomfortable it feels to carry around so much weight.
What happens after 9 months? Baby comes out. Well, it's time for babies. Okay?
Others have to care for babies, and these babies do more than cry. They can sense if they're being abused and not taken care of.
Somebody did not use a condom. I can see that right now.
And here, in a class full of their peers, they can openly ask questions and talk about things they may have been too embarrassed to ask.
All right, let me guess. She told you to trust her, right? She said that she loved you. Trust her. You didn't need a condom, right? And you believed her, didn't you? Sexual intercourse can bring some consequences. And what are two of them? Does anybody know one? What's one? Sexually transmitted disease is one. Very good. And what's the other one? Pregnancy. Yeah, we know what causes that now. Unprotected intercourse. Okay? If she becomes pregnant, essentially you become pregnant as well. And then there's a lot of responsibility placed on you.
Now, we've talked about unplanned pregnancies, places that help pregnant teens, and prevention. But what may surprise you is that some young teens actually plan their pregnancies. Meet Leviticus and Robin. They met at the movies and fell in love. And without anyone's advice, they decided they wanted a family. After trying for 2 months, Robin became pregnant.
We both, in a sense, planned the pregnancy due to the fact that when we decided to have sexual intercourse, we were both using condoms, aware of, different diseases and the risk of getting pregnant. And when we talked about it, we was in love and we wanted to do this. We went ahead and, pursued trying to have a baby at a young age. When I found out that Robin was pregnant, my first reaction was thrilled. I was very happy that she was pregnant. I called my mom right away and told her, and she was happy for me.
My mom, she was nervous, really, for me because she was a teenage mother, too, so she was real nervous. How was I going to deal with it and cope with it? Because in her age and time, things were different.
After dealing with their families, the two married and moved into his home. But there was much work to be done. You would think raising one child would be tough enough for a young couple, but Leviticus and Robin decided they wanted one more.
And then while she was in school, I decided I wanted to have 2 kids close together, back to back, due to the fact that they'll always have a friend, that they will have that brother to say, wait a minute, we do this, we're going to get in trouble. Don't do this, don't do that. That second voice to tell them right from wrong.
Staying focused was tough, but Robin managed to keep her grades up and earn a full scholarship to Florida International University. Now she has to continue doing well in school. Although Robin and Leviticus made the decision to have children early, before you do it,
The advice that I would give to any girl, young lady who decides that to have a child at a young age is that know what you're getting yourself into, that it's not a game, that bringing a child into this world is not play. It's not play. Whatever you do in that child's life it's going to affect them for the rest of their life. You have to be a concerned parent. You can't just leave your child anywhere and expect for other people to take care of your child the way that you would. You have to be dedicated to that child. And if you decide to have it, being a parent is being a parent. It's 24 hours a day, no vacations, no leave time, none of that. You're a parent. It's a sacrifice that needs to be made, and I would strongly suggest that you really sit down and really take into account that you are going to sacrifice the rest of your life for your children.
In every state, you can find agencies that will assist teenage parents. These organizations may also conduct educational programs in your community. Check your local telephone directory for support hotlines.